Those your three main contenders for the podium positions here. Race 1 of the 2025 Circuito Estoril round gets underway. Nicolo Bulliga with a good jump already alongside Toprak Razgatlioglu. Alvaro Bautista trying to slot in as well. Jonathan Rea under siege from Andrea Locatelli, his teammate at turn 1. Rea holds on to the position. Big incident further back.
Van der Mark Nagashima.
Sofoglu as well involved there as Nicolo Bulliga tries to recover against Toprak Razgatlioglu. There goes Jonathan Rea lunging down the inside. He's got to because Alex Lowe's is alongside him and challenging for fourth, and Rea clips the back of Bautista, moves across the path of Alex Lowe's, somehow manages to hold on to the bike, but Alex Lowe's almost alongside Rea now for fourth position. So a chaotic opening lap. Razgatlioglu leads Bulliga, Bautista's still there, then it's Jonathan Rea who's made a good jump from the outside of the second row.
Yeah, and you can see for Bulliga trying to attack down into 6.
And Nicolo Bulliga comes through on Toprak Razgatlioglu, who's held out wide. Alvaro Bautista with the chance to slot through. Ducati briefly 1 and 2. Closest Alvaro Bautista's been to challenging these two for some time. First time he's qualified up on the front row of the grid, of course, this season. Alex Lowe's through on Jonathan Rea for fourth position. Bautista eventually had to slot back in, but this is a good opportunity for Bautista to challenge Razgatlioglu. Meanwhile, he's under pressure from Alex Lowe's. Lowe's comes through. Rea wants to switch back against Bautista. Lowe's is slightly off the line. Jonathan Rea squirming and squirreling, almost gets alongside Bautista. Red flag brings the race to a premature stoppage on the opening lap. Not too much of a surprise. Still got 3 bikes in that area of the track. And we will have a premature stoppage to what has been a chaotic start to race 1, to say the least.
Yeah, but
good battle in prospect, particularly the opening 7 or so laps before the field begins to thin out later on. Green flag again. Second time of asking, now over 20 laps. Race 1 of the 2025 Circuito Estoril round gets underway for a second time. Good launch from Jonathan Rea. Poor start from Xavi Vierque. Rea almost alongside the Ducatis already in the run down to turn 1. Another great start from Andrea Locatelli, and this time he will get ahead of Jonathan Rea. Toprak Razgatlioglu ends up down in third, but super start from Andrea Locatelli, who is actually challenging Toprak now and moves into the podium places. Toprak on the back foot on the opening lap at the restart. He's down to fourth position.
yeah, Toprak with that change to the front tyre, maybe a little bit cautious on the opening lap, but he's now got a lot of work to do. As you can see, Jonathan Rea attacking as well.
Jonathan Rea through on Toprak Razgatlioglu as well as they make their way through turn 4, and Rea now going off after his teammate Andrea Locatelli for a provisional place on the podium. And of course, Toprak's challenge now is that all of the riders around him are scrapping for podium spots too. They're not going to make it an easy ride for him. Razgatlioglu just about gets it stopped through the Parabolica Interior to repass Jonathan Rea and back up into fourth place. Rea wide and out all over the curbs as Alex Lowe's challenges him for fifth position. Next in line for Toprak Razgatlioglu is to attack Andrea Locatelli for third, but it's Alvaro Bautista who leads on lap number 1 with Nicolo Bulliga in second place. Razgatlioglu diving down the inside of Andrea Locatelli and running him out wide. This is an opportunity for Jonathan Rea now on the cutback, just as he did in the opening staging of this race before the red flag, and Rea comes through for fourth position. Locatelli back down to fifth.
Toprak all across on the run into 9, but able to make that move stick. The reason that he likes their front tyre is the added support and a little bit of difference in the structure of it, just to give him that confidence on the entry into corners. So it's a big step for Razgatlioglu to have opted to go for that softer front tyre.
Alvaro Bautista leads a lap for the first time since Phillip Island. Nicolo Bulliga second place at the start of lap number 2. Toprak Razgatlioglu third with Jonathan Rea, Andrea Locatelli and Alex Lowe's in behind.
Yeah, and you can see the front 6. They've got Xavi Vierge and Remy Gardner there with them. Rea leading that second group needs to just get the head down, try and just go with these 3 leaders at the front. Looks like Toprak's in a position to try and attack on Bulliga as well, and the run in towards turn 4. This is the move he made up in towards 9 on Locatelli, and really able to get that bike stopped, but that then cost the momentum for Locatelli, and he ended up being vulnerable to attack for Rea. But you could see for Toprak just how much he's crossed up on the entry there.
So, lap number 2, Alvaro Bautista it is who leads. We know how well he goes around this Estoril circuit, but we know he's got 2 tigers on his tail, the top 2 in the World Championship. Nicolo Bulliga has to attack and defend at the same time. He wants to pass Bautista, put a bike between himself and Toprak Razgatlioglu. He's not going to get the chance to do so. Razgatlioglu comes bundling down the inside. There's contact between the 2 of them. We head up towards turn 9. Is Razgatlioglu within striking distance of Bautista? Not quite this time around.
Johnny Rea is, though. He's managed to move himself right up there. After seeing Buliga get pushed out of the way, it cost them momentum, and Ray on the 65 bike able to jump right back onto the top three.
Big train of 6 riders, Xavi Vierque right with them as well, then a bit of a gap to Remy Gardner behind, but it's a head-to-head between Alvaro Bautista and Toprak Razgatlioglu, as it was so many times in 2022 and 23. Bautista will lead them onto the start-finish straight to begin lap number 3. Second lap led for Bautista in this race, but I think it might be the last for some time anyway, as Razgatlioglu pulls alongside. Heaviest braking zone on the circuit into turn 1, and it's Razgatlioglu who hits the front on lap 3.
Yeah, good easy move there for Toprak down in towards turn 1 to be able to come through. And for Buliga, he needs to now attack on his teammate to make sure that he doesn't let Toprak get away at the front.
Alex Lowe's late move there on Andrea Locatelli, can't quite get it done for P5. The next fight you'd expect to be for second position. Alvaro Bautista holding on from Nicolo Buliga. Of course, Bautista will depart the factory Ducati team next season. He's not going to be too worried about the championship. Opportunity for one of his best results of the season here for Bautista, who by qualifying on the front row for the first time this season has put himself well and truly in the mix. But it's quite clear from the pace we've seen between the two of them this weekend so far that it's Buliga who's the faster of the two, and Buliga cuts to the inside through the Parabolica Interior. Sweet move on Bautista there for second place from Nicolo Buliga.
Yeah, Bautista just runs wide through that corner each time. He did that at the previous lap as well. Now into 9, he's going to be under attack. Watch
for Jonathan Ray going into turn 9. It's one of his favourite corners at this Estoril circuit, and Bautista knows to go defensive. That will give Ray the exit though, and the opportunity. We ride on board with Jonathan Ray. He passed Locatelli on the exit of turn 9 on the opening lap. He can't do the same to Bautista. A bit more grunt on the exit there from the Ducati.
Yeah, and it looked like on that change of direction into the right-hander of turn 10 that Bautista a little bit unsettled on the Ducati, but you can see the gaps that are starting to open up now.
No great surprise that Bautista is being dropped by the top two, but Razgatlioglu also leaving Buliga in his wake. 0.8 of a second between the top two. Half a second then back from Buliga to Bautista as Alex Lowe's makes his move again on Andrea Locatelli. Again, Locatelli closes the door. Ongoing scrap that for 5th position.
Yeah, Locke doing well there on the 55 bike just to keep Lowe's behind him, but we'll see if Alex is able to try and find somewhere else he can make that move. Difficult to make it into turn 1 on the Mimoda because he's got one of the slower bikes on that straight.
We said in his race simulation yesterday, Jonathan Ray saw his pace drop significantly from lap 8 onwards. Part of that was being dropped by Nicolo Buliga, who he had been following until then.
We saw that going on the run down in towards turn 1, again looking over his shoulder. He was obviously thinking about his injuries and his recovery from it. He's just had a big crash at turn 3. That's where he went down yesterday as well.
Back to Jonathan Ray. If he wants a podium here, it's crucial he gets track position ahead of Alvaro Bautista as soon as possible.
Yeah, and for Ray, we know that these early stages of the race, that's where he really needs to be able to take advantage of the grip that he's able to get from that bike and give yourself the chance to be able to make those moves. It's going to be tougher and tougher in the second half of the race, particularly up against someone like Bautista. But look at how much they've dropped behind Buliga now at this stage.
And Jonathan Ray looks the racier of the two at this stage against Alvaro Bautista for 3rd. The problem is, the more the race goes on, the more the weight of the fuel drops off for Alvaro Bautista, the more he starts to come into his own. As others begin to struggle for tyre life, Bautista rarely does. Jonathan Ray will want track position as soon as possible. It was 0.4 of a second, the gap between them at the start of this lap. Jonathan Ray is all over the back of Alvaro Bautista, and all the while he's got to keep himself in front of teammate Andrea Locatelli and then the rest of the group behind. It would be so easy to lose one position and then to lose several positions in this trade.
Yeah, and you can see there Locatelli though at the end of that start-finish straight really able to claw back a few metres on his teammate Jonathan Ray.
And Ray had to move to the inside. Ray had to actually defend through there to make sure he held on against Locatelli. The train is very close together now, all the way back to Andrea Iannone in 9th position.
Yeah, and you can see at the front of the field, Toprak really stretching that lead. He's down in the 35s, no one else down in even the low 36s at this stage. So Razgatlioglu, 2.5 clear, he's been and gone.
So the race is for 3rd position. Alvaro Bautista, Jonathan Ray, Andrea Locatelli, Alex Lowe's, Xavi Vierque, Remy Gardner, Andrea Iannone. They're all covered by just 2 seconds. And then this is the action further back. Yeah,
Bazin-Savoglu's been meatballed. There was a small bit of smoke we saw on the exit of turn 1 a few laps ago, and it must have been for Savoglu, but that's a real shame. He'd managed to get himself up into 12th from last on the grid.
Yeah, it was a couple of laps in a row that I'd seen that smoke, and I was trying to work out who it was coming from. So we'd assume Savoglu, who was 12th position at the time of that technical flag coming out. As we return our focus to the scrap for 3rd position, Bautista, Ray, Locatelli. Still right with one another, and as I said, second all the way down to Andrea Iannone, 9th position, all covered by 2 seconds at this stage. Remy Gardner just beginning to be dropped off now by Vierke in front of him.
Yeah, that's where it becomes important for Iannone to get through on Gardner, but they're both losing touch now at this stage, and it's Bautista back to Vierge, but a good group of 5 riders.
Yes, Bautista still seems to be backing up Jonathan Rea in certain areas of the track, but of course the key overtaking hotspots like here at turn 1 favour the Ducati with a little bit more legs in a straight line than the Yamaha.